we've heard the advice for years. Skipping breakfast could make you fat.
Yeah.
That's why it's even outlined in U.S. dietary guidelines. But there's a new article in the Washington Post that questions how the government makes those dietary guidelines, like saying skipping breakfast leads to weight gain. So the bottom line, they say the science is not concrete. So, Dr. Raj, these health guidelines that are created, the Washington Post is calling them into question. They're saying that they may not actually do that.
You know, it's very difficult to conclusively get data on these questions of should we skip breakfast or is cholesterol bad or good, because they do these large, what we call observational studies, where they study people, thousands of people for years, but you can't really control every behavior a person is doing. So maybe they're skipping breakfast, but they're also exercising or not, or they're also under a lot of stress, or they're not sleeping. We now know that weight gain is really multifactorial. It's not just about what you eat. So it's hard to conclude that. I think, in general, for people out there, weight loss is a very individual thing. If you find that when you skip breakfast, you end up eating fattier foods the rest of the day, it's probably not the right thing for you. If you skip breakfast and you feel fine and you have energy and you still eat a healthy, balanced diet the rest of the day, then maybe it is good for you. You know, you have to kind of figure out what works for you.
Yeah. So how do they come up with these guidelines? I mean, how big is the group that they're looking at? What kind of controls are they putting into place?
They look at several studies that can, you know, contain thousands or tens of thousands of subjects in it. But again, unless you have people in a contained environment, you lock them in a house and say you can only eat this, you can only sleep this amount, you can only have this much stress in your life. And you can see how it's very hard to control for those factors. You're not going to get a definitive answer very easily. And so that's why these guidelines change. First we said cholesterol is bad. Now it's not so bad. Saturated fat, maybe not. Maybe it's trans fat.
I know all the things that my mother told me was bad for me as a kid. You know, like hot dogs and butter, and you know, there's always questions about those things because everybody's an individual.
Oh, the hot dogs are still bad. That I can tell you definitively.
But they're so
they
good,
are so
Dr.
yummy.
Raj. Here's the thing. Let's talk about some practicalities.
Yes.
People say that when they, some people say when they skip breakfast, they feel like they're not firing at all cylinders. Other people say when they skip breakfast, there's sort of a fasting that goes on in their body and they feel more energized.
I think part of it depends on what you're eating for breakfast. I do think your brain does require protein and some sugar. And so if you're going to be active in the morning, like for my job, I'm always on my feet. I'm walking around. I do need that breakfast. I need that boost of energy. If you're just going to go sit at a desk for a few hours, maybe you don't need it and it's going to save you some calories in the end. But you want to get some, if you are going to eat breakfast, some protein, some healthy fat, a little bit of carbs is good.
All right. I don't know what I should do now. Today I didn't
do you
have
normally eat breakfast?
You know, it's funny. I try because I know that it's not good. It's not healthy, and I'm an old man now, and I need to like stay healthy. But I try to do the right thing. But today I didn't have any protein. So I just had a cup of strawberries.
Protein, I mean, berries are great for you. They're great antioxidants, but I think the protein gives you that longer-lasting energy surge that you need.
All right, so if I start to fade,
we know why.
I'll blame the cafeteria at CBS.
Yes.
Dr. Raj, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.